I left Saudi the first time, I really wanted to come back. And for me, I wanted to learn about the Eastern province. I wanted to learn about energy. But until I actually spoke with the Consul General who was here at that time and said to him that I was interested. And the second time we spoke, he said to me, and he says, yeah, we're looking for the first woman. I'm like, what do you mean the first woman? So I actually did not realize that whoever got the job this time, if I got it, I'd be the first woman. And it wasn't something that was necessarily on my mind. And honestly, it didn't hit me until I got the job. So I didn't go after the job because I would be the first woman. I went after the job because I wanted to learn about energy. So for me, it was about energy. It was about Aramco. It was about what's happening in the Eastern province. It was about the connection since 1933. It was about really looking at this place and realizing not only what it means for Saudi Arabia, what it means for the whole world. And then I got the benefit of being the first woman. It was a lot of pressure, but my life has been really full of pressure. And I think I'm one of those people that if you have pressure, then you tend to do really well because the pressure helps you kind of bring your mind to bear on what you need to get done. So it was really tough, but also fun, amazing. And I think you've heard me say this. I have the best job in the best place and at the absolute best time. So you can take all the pressure and put Dhahran around it, and I think people will come out smelling like roses. This is just a magical place.
So who was your role model when you were growing up? Who inspired you to get where you are now?
My role models were not necessarily women. So I start with my grandfather, and I talked about this before as well. My grandfather was in his, I think in his mid-40s, and an English and math teacher, and was riding his bike to work and had an accident with a train and lost his leg. So when I was growing up and really young, I watched this person in my life work crazy hard without one of his legs. And he did, I don't think I realized for the first few years that he didn't have one. And only as I got older and I saw him taking off the wooden leg and cleaning, and doing things that I realized. And of course, towards the end of his life, when he couldn't put it on and we had to go help him, that I realized how tough life was for him. So he's my absolute hero. Sorry. And then my dad, and then a couple of teachers. So probably Mrs. Martinez is the one I remember the most. My English teacher in 9th grade. She taught me how to actually enjoy language. And I think words really give you power, and you can use the power for good or bad. And her teaching taught me how to use words for good, I hope, and I'm still learning. I learned how to take everything thrown at you and try to find a way to smile and to try to figure out how to stay positive. Empowerment, I think, is a really tough word. So I understand all the political ramifications of it, right? So there are reasons why you need to talk about it, and there are reasons why the word is important. But instead of empowerment, maybe performance is a better word to be used. So you show up, you perform, you do what you can, and then grab the opportunity. So you can't sit back and ask for empowerment. You can't also try to take it away from somebody. So it's sort of like a give and take. And I think that comes with practice. Some people are lucky. They might get it very early in life. Some people may get it very late in life, and some people may never get it at all. I think men have as much issue with empowerment as women do. We just don't hear about it often enough, in my opinion. And now I speak to the family side of this. I think if you go to any household, it becomes really clear very quickly where the empowerment, where the power lies, depending on what's going on, right? So there are ways to take power. I think you just have to decide what's important to you. I really do believe that if we as people love each other, take care of each other, and are good to each other, that religion is a side conversation rather than a main conversation. So to me, it's not necessarily interfaith dialogue that's going to take us places. It's really walking in somebody's shoes. It's really understanding the other person, and it's wanting what's best for the person sitting in front of you. So if you could figure that out, then does faith matter between you and me? If I want what's good for you, what does it matter what religion you might be? So I have a few things on this. First of all, Saudis have been doing this for years, for decades, right? They've been opening up their countries to tourists. Okay. It's just called, Hajj and Umrah, right? So they've had millions of people come every single year to visit. So I think Saudis are experts at tourism of that kind. The second part of my answer would be that in 2011, 12, and 13, and I think you already said that you've also been visiting. I went to Al Ula, I went to Farzan Island and went snorkeling. I mean, the snorkeling in Farzan Island is eye-opening. I don't know if you've been or not.
Beautiful island.
Right?
Very beautiful.
And, you don't even have to go very far. You just dunk your head in and oh my God, the colors, yeah. So Saudis have been going overseas for the longest time. So everybody goes to US, UK, China, Japan, all over Europe. And they come back. I don't see that they've lost their traditions or their culture, even being away every year for 2 to 3 months, right? You hear about a lot of Saudis gone away in the summer or gone in the winter, and then they're back home and it's all the same. So I don't anticipate that the culture and the traditions will go away because people are coming this way. My anticipation is that the world is actually going to see Saudi Arabia on the stage for the first time.
Can you tell us a little bit of each place that you are taking with you back to the States?
It's always all people, to be honest. So I think we walked away, and I say we because it's really my husband and I and our kids. We walked away out of each place with a certain set of friends and then always learning something new. I can clearly go back to each of those places and tell you why I need to go back, why I want to go back and spend time over there, why is it important for me to keep in touch, and whether it's Iraq or Mumbai or Kuwait or Sri Lanka, I'd want to go back to each one of those places and visit my family, visit my friends, because that's really what, after you spend 2-3 years in a place, that's what it becomes to you. So as a child from New Jersey, I now have friends and family all around the world because of my job, and that's just amazing. So that's what I take back. So I take me back with a little piece of everybody's heart, with all these connections that I've made. So my heart's gotten bigger, but then I also leave a little piece of heart behind me with them. I really believe that a leader should do is to provide hope. So I'm definitely getting that from my bosses, and that's sort of my intention for my team. And then the hardest part about this really has been, in the past, I would zoom around on my golf cart or walk around the compound and see people and go to people's offices and kind of say hello to everybody. You walk in, salam alaikum, and say hello to everybody. You don't necessarily individually have to talk with everybody, but now they've seen you and it's okay. That part's really tough right now. So having to find people on the phone, having to lead a team virtually. It's not the easiest. It is still doable. It just requires a lot more work and a lot more effort. So I think being cognizant of that, but honestly, it's being practical, being positive, and providing hope. So that to me is what is absolutely needed right now. So I'm trying to do that every day. come from New York, New Jersey, so very much an East Coast person. I have loads of family in California, and of course I work in DC, all right? So I have decided that, and please, this is coming from me, it's not been sanctioned by anybody in the State Department, but I think that Riyadh is Washington, DC, Jeddah is California, all right, San Francisco, LA, you can take your pick, and I would say it's probably more LA, but here is definitely New York. And you know, people come from all around the world to New York, and you can make it, and if you can make it there, you can make it really big, right? And you can really make it everywhere. It's the same here. I really do believe that this place is more like the United States than any part of Saudi Arabia. That the mix of cultures, the Aramco effect, the Aramco ecosystem, the American companies, the Saudi companies that are bringing in American products in here, that this is just a microcosm of the United States right here in Saudi Arabia. And I think you don't see it from the outside, but as soon as you live here, you realize, you know, what American influence has really left here. If you look at how Khobar is laid out, if you look at, I mean, there's just small things and there are big things. This place is going to continue to grow, and it's not just going to be about oil and gas. I think it's going to be about entrepreneurship. I think it's, you have this stage already set. So between KFUPM, Aramco, other universities here, and the way that they're used to doing business, I think the stage is set for other things to come out of the Eastern Province. So I am anticipating that small companies, similar to how our Silicon Valley happened, that's what's going to start to happen here. You saw what's happening next door at DTV. So it's not just the big companies. I think the ecosystem here allows for jobs, for people to be employed in not just the energy industry, but the support that comes with it. So to me, this is the heart of the economic engine of Saudi Arabia, and it's not going away anytime soon. I really don't know. It's a good question. I think I might come back as a tourist. You know, that would be lovely. I'll come back for my friend Abu Osama's younger son's wedding, maybe potentially, if he invites me still, you know. I might come back for, you know, one of my staff's weddings, I don't know. So yeah, the connection is absolutely there, and I would like to come back and visit friends. I'd like to come back and spend time. I'd like to come back and continue seeing how Vision 2030 plays out. So you know, I don't think it's going to be an if I'm coming back. It's going to be a matter of when I'm coming back.
And what is your last word to Saudi people?
Thank you for the love. Thank you for the hospitality. Thank you for the support. Thank you for accepting me. Thank you for not laughing at me. Thank you for laughing with me. Thank you for making me smile. Thank you for the amazing food. Thank you for just conversation. Thank you for being you. مبارك عليكم عيد الفطر وكل عام وانتم طيبين.